If the path before you is clear, you're probably on someone else's. Whatever is begun in anger ends in shame. Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. Be careful who you call your friends. I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. Life is not a matter of holding good cards, but of playing a poor hand well. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. If you want to get rich, think of saving as earning. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. People are great at keeping secrets they don't know. Decision-making, like coffee, needs a cooling process. He who laughs at himself never runs out of things to laugh at. Be silent, or let thy words be worth more than silence. Everyone falls down. Getting back up is how you learn how to walk. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Great results can be achieved with small forces. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and its life will not get any shorter. Happiness doesn't diminish when you share it. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. A busy man is seldom visited by idle friends. No flies fly to a boiling pot. Spend your money on the things money can buy. Spend your time on the things money can't buy. There are 2 wolves fighting inside all of us. The first one is evil. The second one is good. Which wolf will win? The one you feed. Circumstances make man, not man's circumstances. Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. People never lie so much as before an election, during a war, or after a hunt. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. Don't judge your greatness by your shadow at sunset. Love your neighbor as yourself. Leave nothing for tomorrow which can be done today. Write your sad times in the sand. Write your good times in stone. A goal is a dream with a deadline. He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing. Ignorance is the root and stem of every evil. A woman's guess is much more accurate than a man's certainty. Both optimists and pessimists contribute to society. The optimist invents the airplane, the pessimist, the parachute. Better a broken promise than none at all. A friend to all is a friend to none. Perfection is achieved not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. What we know is a drop. What we don't know is an ocean. Understanding a question is half an answer. A bad friend is like a shadow. On a sunny day, run. You won't run away. On a cloudy day, look for it. You won't find it. It always seems impossible until it's done. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. Never ruin an apology with an excuse. Simplicity is the result of maturity. The life of the dead is set in the memory of the living. You can't wait for inspiration. You have to go after it with a club. Fear doesn't exist anywhere except in the mind. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. To get married means to have your rights and double your responsibilities. How many things would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? A friendship founded on business is better than a business founded on a friendship. We are not rich by what we possess, but by what we can do without. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. A leader is a dealer in hope. Procrastination is the thief of time. Collar it. When fate hands you lemons, make lemonade. Whatever advice you give, be brief. When anger rises, think of the consequences. But there are 1,000 lessons in defeat, but only one in victory. As a child, I prayed to God for a bicycle. Then I realized that God works differently. I stole my bike and prayed for forgiveness. Be correct with everyone, sociable with many, close to the elect, friend to the few. The noblest work of God? Man. Who found it out? Man. Your ambition is handicapped by laziness. Judge a man by his questions rather than by his answers. If you can dream it, you can do it. Those who are hardest to love need it the most. Where your fear is, there is your task. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. When you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries, and you rejoice. Time stays long enough for anyone who will use it. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. Student is not a container you have to fill, but a torch you have to light up. The liar's punishment is not in the least that he is not believed, but that he cannot believe anyone else. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Do what you can with what you have, where you are. Thinking is the hardest work there is, which is probably the reason why so few engage in it. One looking into a puddle sees dirt in it, the other, stars reflected in it. An abnormal reaction to an abnormal situation is normal behavior. The most important thing we learn at school is the fact that the most important things can't be learned at school. A happy marriage is a long conversation which always seems too short. Experience is the teacher of all things. Thinking that someone else can make you happy or unhappy is ridiculous. Time passes slowly when you follow it. It senses being followed. There is nothing impossible to him who will try. Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. He can anger you only when you permit yourself to be disturbed by him. Through discipline comes freedom. Words can be like X-rays if you use them properly. They'll go through anything. You read, and you're pierced. Courage is not having the strength to go on. It is going on when you don't have the strength. The oldest, shortest words, yes and no, are those which require the most thought. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a harder battle. A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. There are only 3 events in a man's life: birth, life, and death. He is not conscious of being born. He dies in pain, and he forgets to live. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Of all the liars in the world, sometimes the worst are our own fears. To put everything in balance is good. To put everything in harmony is better. Tact is the knack of making a point without making an enemy. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hope for. If your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. The highest activity a human being can attain is learning for understanding, because to understand is to be free. The future comes slowly, the present flies, and the past stands still forever. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Only a fool learns from his own mistakes. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Time is money. Fear of death increases in exact proportion to increase in wealth. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary. Everyone, at some time or another, sits down to a banquet of consequences. If you wish to forget anything on the spot, make a note that this thing is to be remembered. Appear weak when you are strong, strong when you are weak. Men always want to be a woman's first love. Women like to be a man's last romance. It is better to offer no excuse than a bad one. Everything that happens before death is what counts. The reason why worry kills more people than work is that more people worry than work. Life did not intend to make us perfect. Whoever is perfect belongs in a museum. Whoever violated trust once loses it forever. Your enemies can kill you, but only your friends can hurt you. Laws are like cobwebs, which may catch small flies, but let wasps and hornets break through. The secret to success is to do the common things uncommonly well. To be able to forget means sanity. If you want to change people, why not begin on yourself? That is a lot more profitable and a lot less dangerous. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. Never close your lips to those whom you have already opened your heart to. Begin, be bold, and venture to be wise. Never compete with someone who has nothing to lose. It is better to make approximately correct decision than to make a precise mistake. The first man gets the oyster. The second man gets the shell. To lead people, follow them. You can overcome bad habits only today, not tomorrow. The world belongs to the patient. The only person with whom you have to compare ourselves is that you in the past. And the only person better you should be, this is who you are now. Seek wisdom, not knowledge. Knowledge is of the past. Wisdom is of the future. No woman or man really knows what perfect love is until they have been married a quarter of a century. If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. Stupid is the man who always remains the same. He who walks straight rarely falls. Now, success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Things may come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Smart people learn from everything and everyone. Average people from their experiences. Stupid people already have all the answers. If a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. The meaning of life is to give life meaning. People willingly believe what they want to believe. If you can't do great things, do small things in a great way. Don't wait for the right opportunity. Create it. You can hide memories, but you can't erase the history that produced them. What we do now echoes in eternity. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Nothing is particularly hard if you divide it into small jobs. When we give someone our time, we actually give a portion of our life that we will never take back. Nature hath given men one tongue but 2 ears, that we may hear from others twice as much as we speak. A true woman loves a strong man because she knows his weaknesses. She protects as much as she is protected. Rules for happiness: something to do, someone to love, something to hope for. Fiction is the lie through which we tell the truth. The secret of genius is to carry the spirit of the child into old age, which means never losing your enthusiasm. If you want a thing done well, do it yourself. Do not say a little in many words, but a great deal in a few. Who of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to his life? Do not envy other people's good qualities, but instill them in yourself through admiration. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. We stopped looking for monsters under our bed when we realized that they were inside us. The most exquisite pleasure is giving pleasure to others. Never was anything great achieved without danger. Gardens are not made by singing, "Oh, how beautiful," and sitting in the shade. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. What we learn from history is that no one learns from history. True nonviolence is a weapon of the strong. It is nothing to die. It is frightful not to live. I would rather be a swineherd, understood by the swine, than a poet misunderstood by men. Death does not concern us, because as long as we exist, death is not here. And when it does come, we no longer exist. What one man calls God, another calls the laws of physics. Love your enemies, for they tell you your faults. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. No matter how thin you slice it, there will always be 2 sides. Who dares nothing needs hope for nothing. No, believe nothing you hear, and only 1/2 that you see. True love begins when nothing is looked for in return. Love is an irresistible desire to be irresistibly desired. If a woman is angry, it means she is not only wrong, but also she knows it. Wealth is like seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become. And the same is true of fame. Lead from the back and let others believe they are in front. If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Keep your fears to yourself, but share your courage with others. To be angry is to take revenge on oneself for the mistakes of others. How much money does it take to make a man happy? Just $1 more. Knowledge isn't power until it is applied. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. We live in an age when unnecessary things are our only necessities. Real men despise battle, but will never run from it. Learning to let go should be learned from learning to get. If each of us sweeps right under our feet, the whole world will be clean. Do more. The race is won by the horse that outstrips its rivals by a head. He who is satisfied with his lot is rich. It is better to light one small candle than to curse the darkness. Ask no questions, and you'll be told no lies. Any man can make mistakes, but only an idiot persists in his error. A wise man gets more use from his enemies than a fool from his friends. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. It does not require many words to speak the truth. Do not shake the green apple tree. When the apple is ripe, it will fall down by itself. The shortest distance between 2 points is often unbearable. An explained joke is no longer a joke. Wisdom is not wisdom when it is derived from books alone. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. If you're going through hell, keep going. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. Before you diagnose yourself with depression or low self-esteem, first make sure that you are not, in fact, just surrounded by assholes. The man who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does. Above all things, never be afraid. The enemy who forces you to retreat is himself afraid of you at that very moment. Women make even the men more sophisticated. A profession should initially be an act of love and not a marriage of convenience. People who say it cannot be done should not interrupt those who are doing it. Do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. Do not chase after happiness. It is always in you. So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. Drop by drop is the water pot filled. Likewise, the wise man, gathering it little by little, fills himself with good. Genius is a mind that knows its limits. Fortune accompanies the brave. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. There is nothing more unbearable than idleness. Trying to forget someone means remembering him all the time. It is better to act and repent than not to act and regret. He travels the fastest who travels alone. What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in two bodies. Experience is not what happens to a man. It is what a man does with what happens to him. The best way to keep one's word is not to give it. The time for action is now. It's never too late to do something. The future depends on what you do today. Nothing makes a man so adventurous as an empty pocket. Live your life as an exclamation rather than an explanation. The art of living well and the art of dying well are one. The hard work of the future will be pushing buttons. There is truth in wine and children. Only he who controls himself is free. He who does not like loneliness does not like freedom. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. Life is like a play. It's not the length, but the excellence of the acting that matters. A friend is a gift you give yourself. Well done is better than well said. To know your enemy, you must become your enemy. If you want the present to be different from the past, study the past. Respect yourself, and others will respect you. In times of war, the law falls silent. The lie flies, and the truth limps after it. Develop success from failures. Discouragement and failure are two of the surest stepping stones to success. The one charm of the past is that it is in the past. You don't have to burn books to destroy a culture. Just get people to stop reading them. Anything you can settle with money is cheap. Don't let yesterday use up too much of today. When in doubt, tell the truth. We must bring our own light to the darkness. To give out someone else's secret is betrayal. To give out yours is stupidity. The best is always the enemy of the good. Manage your mood, because if it does not obey, then it commands. Without courage, wisdom bears no fruit. No man becomes rich unless he enriches others. Men cheat because they don't feel needed. Women because they don't feel loved. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. Most so-called failures are only temporary defeats. The thing you think about determines the quality of your mind. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. First, think. Second, believe. Third, dream. And finally, dare. Children learn by an adult's example, not by their words. Men are moved by two levers only: fear and self-interest. Be equally indifferent to blame and praise. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. All that we are is the result of our thoughts. In order to understand the world, one has to turn away from it on occasion. Often the lies that are believed become the truth. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Intuition is something that is ahead of accurate knowledge. Treat your parents as you would like your children to treat you. Marrying is not at all difficult. It is difficult to be married. He who builds on the people builds on the mud. Learn first, teach later. To lead an orchestra, you must turn your back on the crowd. Never put off till tomorrow the fun you can have today. A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. You may turn into an archangel, a fool, or a criminal. No one will see it. But when a button is missing, everyone sees that. Intellect is invisible to the man who has none. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. The saints are the sinners who keep on trying. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Even the finest sword plunged into salt water will eventually rust. What Paul says about Peter tells us more about Paul than about Peter. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. Control your finances, or lack of them will control you. The greatest victory is victory over yourself. Live every day as your last, because one of these days it will be. Do the hard jobs first. The easy jobs will take care of themselves. Women are meant to be loved, not to be understood. Anything you dream is fiction, and anything you accomplish is science. The whole history of mankind is nothing but science fiction. No man is free who is not a master of himself. Progress is impossible without change. Receive without conceit. Release without struggle. Any fool can know. The point is to understand. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Rule your mind, or it will rule you. If a man is as wise as a serpent, he can afford to be as harmless as a dove. Do not look back when leaving. The fact that people do not learn from the mistakes of history is the most important lesson of history. 10 people who speak make more noise than 10,000 who are silent. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Since we're all going to die, it's obvious that when and how don't matter. Much is expected from that to whom much is given. A man only begins to be valued when he is no longer there. We learn not in school, but in life. Compromise is the best and cheapest lawyer. No gains without pains. The secret to being creative alone. Ideas are born in loneliness. The world is boring for boring people. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. You are not what happened to you. You are what you chose to become. Recognizing a problem is half the success in solving it. A truth is not hard to kill. A lie told well is immortal. No wise man ever wished to be younger. Smile. Today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. You can never be overdressed or overeducated. When they give you lined paper, write the other way. People, in essence, do not grow up. They only get old. He can do anything who thinks that he can do anything. Only those who can afford not to lie are free. A donkey loaded with gold will open the gates of any fortress. It is unrealistic to expect people to see you as you see yourself. Those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Problems cannot be solved with the same level of thinking that created them. Keep busy. It's the cheapest kind of medicine there is on this earth, and one of the best. One can always be kind to people about whom one cares nothing. To be everywhere is to be nowhere. Life's biggest tragedy is that we get old too soon and wise too late. He who is to be a good ruler must have first been ruled. Give a man power, and you will find out who he is. Above all things, respect yourself. A fool is known by his speech, and a wise man by silence. When someone betrays you, it's because it is a reflection of their character, not yours. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Genius is 1% talent and 99% hard work. Nothing costs so much in life as illness and ignoring an illness. True love never has a happy ending because there is no ending to true love. Difficulty shows what men are. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Our thoughts make us what we are. If you cannot have a faithful friend, be your own friend. One today is worth 2 tomorrows. Throw off your worries when you throw off your clothes at night. Genius lies in the ability to distinguish the difficult from the impossible. Other people's stupidity never makes us smart. Laziness travels so slowly that poverty soon overtakes him. Great men are meteors designed to burn so that Earth may be lighted. A lie can travel halfway around the world, while the truth is putting its shoes on.